Welcome, focus learners, to this explainer. If you share your home with a male cat, well, you probably know the nightly routine by heart. He hops up onto the bed, circles a few times, and settles in right next to you. It feels incredibly cozy, doesn't it? But behind that nightly closeness, there is a hidden, profound meaning that, honestly, most owners completely miss. So today, we're decoding exactly what his sleeping habits really mean. Most of us just assume our cats are looking for a warm spot, right? Just a little extra body heat. But is he just getting cozy, or is it something much deeper? Okay, let's dive into this, because what looks like simple relaxation is actually a display of intense vulnerability and really complex communication. Because get this, veterinary experts note that sleeping next to you is actually one of the most vulnerable things a male cat can do. Literally. If you're ignoring these nightly signs and writing them off as him just wanting a soft blanket, you are missing out on the absolute deepest bond he's actively trying to build with you every single night. To really understand this, we have to look at his core instincts. So let's start with section 1, claiming his safe place. Think about his options for a second. He has the couch, the floor, the chair, maybe that wildly expensive cat bed he completely ignores. But night after night, he claims you. Out of everywhere in the house, choosing you means he's literally marking you as his own safe territory. It's a highly territorial, primal decision. He's basically saying, this one is mine. And science absolutely backs this up. The Journal of Veterinary Behavior defines this as an attachment bond. It's this deep emotional connection that is remarkably similar to the bond between babies and parents. Male cats, in particular, tend to pick one specific person they trust above all others. So if he sleeps with you and nobody else, congratulations, you've been chosen. But his physical presence is really only the first layer. Let's move to section 2 and see how this builds. The feline bodyguard. Have you ever noticed exactly where he positions his body on the bed? It is definitely not random. It's a fascinating concept called protective spatial behavior. A study from the University of Lincoln actually found that bonded cats deliberately position themselves between their human and potential entry points, like your bedroom door. So he's recreating that wild survival instinct where male cats choose elevated, strategic spots to watch for threats. So he isn't just relaxing. He's standing guard. He is actively standing guard for you. This is raw, unspoken loyalty. He's taken the watch so you can sleep. And what's really amazing is that he won't take this specific post for just anyone who happens to sleep in that bed. This duty, it's reserved exclusively for you. Now that we know he's guarding you, we need to look a little closer at the geography of the bed. Let's get into section 3, decoding the sleeping spots. You are never going to look at bedtime the same way again. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is what each spot specifically communicates. If he's on your chest, that's the absolute highest trust. He's syncing his heartbeat and breathing with yours, which mimics that intense, comforting kitten-mother bond. Down by your feet? That's a highly tactical, protective choice, giving him a vantage point for a fast reaction to threats. And up by your head or neck? That is intimate emotional vulnerability. He feels safe enough to expose himself near the absolute most vulnerable part of your body. But his connection to you goes way beyond just physical protection. Let's look at section 4, sensing your emotions. Think back to a really exhausting day when your cat just wouldn't leave your side. I promise, it wasn't your imagination. When you're stressed, your cortisol levels spike. That subtly shifts your body chemistry and your actual scent. Research from the University of Nottingham shows that cats detect these chemical shifts and even tiny changes in your facial expressions long before we even realize we're feeling off. And when he detects that change, step 4, he chooses to stay close to comfort you. So, the crucial point is this. Cats are not pack animals. Unlike dogs, they have absolutely no biological or social obligation to comfort anyone in a group. When your male cat shows up for you on those hard days, it is raw, pure affection. He comforts you entirely because he chooses to. And because this bond is so deep and consistent, it's actually a vital health tool. Let's pivot to section 5, warning signs and changes. What does it mean when this deeply ingrained nightly routine is suddenly broken? Well, veterinary behaviorists emphasize that cats are absolute masters at hiding pain. They won't limp, and they usually won't cry out. Instead, their routines change. So you want to watch for these subtle shifts. If he moves to a completely new hiding spot, that usually means stress. If he suddenly starts sleeping directly on top of you when he normally doesn't,
could be a sign he's having trouble regulating his body temperature. These sleep shifts, especially when combined with eating less, being noticeably quieter, or avoiding eye contact, are critical early warning signs. As the experts put it, if the change lasts more than a few days, that's your cat whispering that something is wrong. Now, you don't need to panic over a single restless night. Cats have moods just like us. But if its sleep geography completely changes for several days in a row, you really need to treat that sustained change as an actionable health checklist. It's time to call the vet. Assuming his routine is healthy, we arrive at the emotional climax of our explainer, Section 6, the ultimate trust. There is one hidden thing your male cat does in his sleep that proves his absolute, unconditional trust, the ultimate vulnerability. You've probably seen him in this state, belly completely exposed to the air, paws twitching, kneading the air or your arm, and a soft, barely audible purring. In these moments of deep REM sleep, he is entirely, physically defenseless. And this brilliantly illustrates the magnitude of this contrast. On one hand, you have thousands of years of his wild survival instinct as an apex predator, telling him his DNA must stay alert, guarded, ready to react to danger. But on the other hand, next to you, it's total biological surrender. Belly up, eyes closed, completely defenseless. A study published in Applied Animal Behavior Science actually gives us a definition for this: unconditional safety. It's the absolute requirement for a cat to enter deep REM sleep. They found that this deep twitching, the purring, the exposed belly, it is biologically impossible unless the cat feels perfectly secure. He simply cannot and will not enter this state unless his environment meets that absolute standard of unconditional safety. Which leaves us with this provocative final thought: to overcome every primal survival instinct built into his DNA, just to fall into a defenseless sleep. Are you his ultimate safe place? The science, the behavior, and the subtle cues all point to yes. So look at your cat tonight and ask yourself, what other wild instincts is he surrendering just to be near you? Thanks for joining us for this explainer, and we'll see you next time.